Okay, all right. Welcome everyone. Sorry, I had to stop some other processings on my computer to get this Twitch set up. Hopefully it's working. We'll know in a second. Yeah, let me just tweet that I'm live, and I will be good after that. I am live now. I'm live now. Thank you for those that are watching on Twitch and for those that are watching the replay on YouTube. I'm live. I am live on Twitch now. All right, and let me know if my audio sounds okay. Yeah, if everything sounds good. I don't really know. So let's wait for some confirmation before I move on. It's going X Factor. Can you hear me? Okay. Let's do. Audio is solid. Okay. All right. Let's first take a look here. Okay. Let's first take a look at the. I think it's this one here. Okay. The tournament. Okay, so a little bit of background. All right, great. A little bit of background. So I was invited by the Legion PvP community down in Lima, who generously supported my trip down to Lima. We stayed at like a beautiful place. Like this place was like picturesque. It was great, and then They had people all over South America, so many of the top players that I had covered in the past, you know, Duvon, Ventusky, a bunch of really top trainers, Escambrero. He's from Lima area. Anyways, they had like a bunch of them stay at the house from Colombia, Chile, other parts of Peru, and etc., all over South America, and I was also there, so that was a really great experience. And so they invited me, and then they actually didn't know it was getting Battle Tower. It actually just was announced, and so it was pretty exciting for them. And I think it ended up being like so. Anyways, this list was pretty crazy. Like lots of aces were invited, and I don't want to spoil any of the results, but I think there was like 164 people. But what made it more difficult was that it was also the same day as raid hour. Yeah, it was very sunny that day. I'm not sure you can tell, but I got sunburned massively. This is the first time I got sunburned since I was like 12 years old, and yeah, I really regret not putting on more sunscreen because I am sunburnt. All over my arms and all over the back of my neck. It looks, it's St. Louis tan. Man, I feel like a fried chicken or something. It was pretty bad. I really should have. I underestimated how intense the sun was down there. So it was pretty nuts. But anyways, so I went to this. I actually didn't get too much practice for Rose Cup, because when I came back, it was middle of like Go Battle League. I was doing like my Great League stuff. Then Ultra League stuff happened. And then what happened was I wasn't sure I was gonna go to Peru because I didn't want to like overwhelm myself. Even though like I really wanted to go down to South America, and South American people are always so nice and everything, right? It's great. One thing I love going to mega tournaments all over the place. But one thing I particularly love about South America is like these big tournaments are such a common occurrence for them that they just love to battle all the time. I remember I got the house. It's like 2 a.m. and they're all like, "Oh, King, can we take a picture?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, can we battle?" And like literally, I just sat there battling each person for like 3 hours till like 5 a.m., which was crazy. Anyways, nuts. So, anyways, I only got like so I talked obviously. My coach as well, Susan Boyle. He gave me. I asked him what team you should run. He's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Should I run your team?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not even sure I'd run my team again." I was like, oh, "Okay." Then I was like, I'll just give it a shot." And then at first, I didn't fully commit. I had Wigglytuff instead of Grand Bull, but now I'm like, you know what? I need to buy all in. Like Wild Susan Boyle has led me to the promised land, or led me to promising results in many times. So I stuck with this exact same team: Probopass with Spark, Alolan Marowak with Firespin Bone Club, Shadow Ball, Machamp with Counter, Cross Chop, and Rock Slide, Sableye. One thing I didn't do, I did change from Shadow Sneak to Power Gem. It actually really didn't make that big a difference. I actually didn't use Sableye all that much, even though I really love Sableye in general. I just found like Marowak and Machamp a little bit better for the teams I was going up against. Mostly because I went up against a lot of Scrafties. And then I used Granbull with Charm, Crunch, and Close Combat. And I remember Wild Susan Boyle gave me my team for Orlando. And to be honest, and I did very poorly in Orlando. I went 4-4. But the thing is, like, it wasn't so much the team. It was like me afraid of using Sneasel, of using the spiciest pick. And there's so many games that I potentially could have won if I used Sneasel instead of Quagsire or any other safer picks. So I said to myself in this tournament, like, if I'm in a hole, I gotta use Granbull. They're not gonna expect it. It's actually really good, and you're gonna see in the tournament that it was actually a really effective Pokemon for me, and actually definitely won me some matches that Wigglytuff or any of the other Charmers definitely would have lost for me. And then I used Gliscor with Wing Attack, Night Slash, and Earthquake, which I think Gliscor and Gligar are some of the most flexible picks in the cup, and they're actually really amazing. So he's my first round opponent. Was like a newer trainer. He actually had a really spicy team, and it's like I really hope I don't lose, because like I have a tendency of losing the first round in these bigger tournaments. So anyways, man, I look awful. I look so red, but whatever. That's fine. Let's go. And the first team is Wigglytuff, Electrode, which I knew a little bit about because I got Volt Switch, Foul Play, Discharge, and then Steelix, Skarmory, Blaziken, and Rhyperior. So I have to figure out what moveset that Rhyperior had. Anyways, I'm gonna go with Alolan Marowak lead, because I feel like it's pretty good against most of his team. Even the Rhyperior, at least can do some damage. Basically, I should win the lead unless he leads with Rhyperior. He leads with Skarmory, so very spicy first round. So obviously this is a very positive matchup for me. I've actually never played out this match. I actually just assumed it was positive, so I didn't really. I didn't even bother looking up. I'm like, I'm doing fire spin damage, and they're doing and as well. Yeah, and I'm like, we're both like reasonably same bulk. They fall for the bait, and then I land the Shadow Ball, and I'm like, I hope this KOs. Oh, okay, and they end up shielding. And then I think I end up shielding as well, because I look at it, I'm like, they need 5 air slashes to get to another charge move, and that's 3, that's 4, and so they were on their 4th one, so I felt pretty comfortable with that. And then with no energy, with no shields, Alolan Marowak is very dangerous in this cup, and they actually go for and I switch out into Machamp just to KO it before they come in, and then I'm in a pretty good situation right now. Actually, probably should have went for. I don't know. I think I ended up getting to 2. And I actually think that Rock Slide would have KO'd there, because I think Rock Slide's more energy efficient in neutral situations than Cross Chop, and that just speaks to how good Rock Slide is. Okay, all right. I think I go with a very similar team. I also like Gliscor against this team. All right. All right. Let's see. And at least the one thing that I guess I should have anticipated, but then I'm gonna go to Gliscor. All right, I'll go to Machamp, and then I think this person. Sometimes it's like. You switch so fast, and that and as well, you have a very limited window with Rhyperior. And obviously they switch out into Wigglytuff, which is actually really bad for my Machamp. But man, Machamp just puts in so much work. I think Medicham is the most popular fighter, but I honestly think Scrafty and well, they're all pros and cons. But I think Scrafty and Machamp are the more flexible fighters. And then he goes back in with Rhyperior, and then I think a shield comes up, and then I think I'm able to land another one. Yeah, I ran into so many Scrafties. You're gonna see later on, and actually I was losing a lot to Scrafties, during my scrims when I was practicing at the house, and then I asked Wild Susan Boyle. I'm like, okay, so like how do I deal with these Scrafties? He gave me a bunch of advice on like how to play it with a Alolan Marowak and Gliscor and all this stuff. So also I ran a bunch of sims. Like, man, you think that Scrafty you could just counter down with Machamp? You actually can't. It's actually like way tankier than that, and the matchup is way closer than it really should be because you're dealing super effective damage versus they're doing neutral damage. Okay, all right. Yeah, imagine like non-pop nerf. Scrafty definitely lives up to the hype, and I'm gonna probably I have another big Rose Cup tournament in Mexico in Monterrey. I'm probably gonna bring Scrafty for that one. So anyone there is attending that one, just prepare for that. So obviously this is a very positive matchup. I'm not gonna be able to fire off the Shadow Balls because they are double resisted, but these Fire Spins and this Bone Club. I actually have not done this matchup. No shields, even energy, even health, like in the lead, like, and someone stayed in the whole time. So I was very curious on how this is going to play out. And I remember I was practicing for the battles, and she's like, "Stop shielding, play rough." Play rough does quite a bit of damage, and thankfully that I actually won the lead there. And I go for the Shadow Ball, and I'm like, "Oh, here comes the Electrode." I'm like, I'm like, oh man, this is bad for me. So what I try to do, I was I'm gonna get up to the charge move. Now I'm like, I'm gonna try to bait out the discharge. No, the foul play. Okay, no, it didn't work. I was too slow on the switch. Ah, man. Okay, so no, I don't know why I switched there. I have no idea why I switched right away. Maybe I thought I could charm down, but Electrode's totally gonna hit me with this discharge. Good thing discharge is not too great of a move, and then Grand Bull's charms are absolutely insane. And I think close. Anyways, I'm in a very positive situation right now. I think this is gonna be a Blaze Kick. Typically, people like to go. Obviously, if this is a Blast Burn, then I probably would have lost. If this was a Blast Burn. So it's a little risky for me not to shield. But anyway, so pretty interesting first round. And now we're on to the second round. And okay, so I tried to do this new thing. It only worked in this round. So basically I split screen my screen so I could always see their team. And but it only worked this round. The other rounds I tried it like messed up the configuration of my screen. So this is against Ash Pokemon, who's one of the leaders in the Legion PvP community. Super nice guy, really nice guy. We actually did some scrims the day before, and we were like super close. Actually this was pretty cool to do. Then anyway, so he predicts the lead, and I go into Alolan Marowak, and he goes into Spark Probopass. And we scrimmed the day before, and he actually changed the movesets in between. Not in between the rounds, but in between like the day before. I think based off of our scrimmed. And to be honest, it actually worked out a little bit in his detriment. You're going to see a little bit later on, just for our particular match. So I really want to win switch advantage. So I'm willing to burn a shield there. And Alolan Marowak does win the one shield against the Spark variant, but the thing is, this is actually my very first time trying it and actually battling with this split screen configuration. I don't know why it was so risky. I'm like, this looks so good, and then I'm gonna be able to farm down, and then he comes in with Alolan Marowak, and man, this is a really great read. Man, and also actually, so I did pretty well there. I don't know why I didn't. Oh, I came into Pro Pass because I had such a bad match against Medicham. So I'm looking pretty decent. I should be able to hit this rock slide. Oh my gosh, I'm like the the configuration's so weird, and I'm like all I need to do is do quite a bit of damage, and I'm gonna let this go. Oh, and he actually undercharges it, which is a brilliant move. Almost cost him the game there. Um, yeah, this is mostly an Android split screen thing. So I'm like, okay, I need shields for this against this Medicham. So he actually baits me, and then he comes in with Medicham. I'm like, oh god, Ice Punch. Medicham, and then I make make a very stupid move. I thought I could catch the Ice Punch, but I definitely could not. And I probably would have lost the race, but you're gonna see a little later on that it was just me panicking, and I think he's able to actually just farm me down. And yeah, I probably could have farmed up a little. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If I had the lone Marowak in the back, if I didn't sack it, then I probably could have fire spin. I think his Pro Pass a little bit of health anyways too, so maybe I would have won. So I'm just daring him. I'm like, okay, let's lead Pro Pass. Gonna dare him to lead Medicham, and he doesn't. So this is actually an okay matchup. So I'm like, oh man, I gotta spend 2 shields to win this matchup. And he actually switches out, which actually very favorable for me. Probably would have been a little bit better for. So this is where he actually had Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch the day before. So I'm like really worried because I can't take 2 Dynamic Punches as Sableye. He throws the Ice Punch at me, and I wasn't sure that was as a bait. And then I was like, okay, this feels like an Ice Punch. I should be okay. And it ends up being an Ice Punch. And I put myself in a very good situation. And then he comes back in with Alolan Marowak. And I have energy on my Probopass. A little bit. So I'm in a decent situation right now. And I go for the Rock Slide. And then I'm like, for the love of God, please be a Bone Club. And then, so it ended up being a Bone Club, which actually worked pretty favorable in the situation. And I'm going to shield, even though likely this is another Bone Club. And then here comes Wigglytuff. And this puts me in a very positive situation. And I think I should have enough health on both my Pokemon to take care of this low health Alolan Marowak. And I was pretty lucky that there was a Wigglytuff in the back. All right. And I switch out into Probopass to absorb this charge move. And it ends up being an Ice Beam instead of Play Rough, so it works out a little bit better for me. And then I go into Rock Slide Probopass. Actually, probably not, to be honest. I probably could have Sparked Down in Fire Spin. But I think I end up putting the shield up. But I think, like, honestly, I do get to this Rock Slide. But one more Spark would have KO'd anyway, so. And then, so I take game number 2. So this is like the first of 7 aces I had to face in this tournament. So we actually had to restart because he was lagging, and well, you can see how that's what ended up happening. Was my screen started getting disfigured, so I'm like, oh, I don't want to risk it, so I'm just gonna abandon that fancy strategy. Okay, so gonna against Gliscor. Against Probopass. So I know that he was actually throwing Magnet Bombs in the first time we played out. So I'm like, I've actually never seen this match. So Rock Slide is better. So I'm like, can I get to 2 Earthquakes? And I remember actually for the battles told me not to switch out of like negative matchups. So he goes for the Magnet Bomb. and I'm like, oh, I can actually. Looks like I can. I think he actually tries to farm me down. So for sure, if he went for Rock Slide, I definitely would not have been able to get to this second Earthquake. And then he ends up farming me down. So I'm like, okay, this is still okay situation. Mostly because I have Pro Pass. It's going to be able to absorb these charge moves, so the value of the energy is not that high. The problem is, like, it's going to take a lot to take out this Pro Pass. Yeah, it's a Wing Attack. I actually, I think I'm kind of split on which one's better, Fury Cutter or Wing Attack. I think Wing Attack generally. So, anyways, I tried to catch the Magnet Bomb, but we end up simultaneously switching. And then here I make a critical mistake. I'm like, I should just let Medicham, it's going to get to a charge move. I should just let it get to one. Ends up Psychicking me, going for the Psychic. And then I'm like, oh, I'm so mad. And then I undercharge this. I'm like, just enough so that I can get to a Bone Club. And then I didn't want to panic charge move. I probably could have hit the Bone Club and then won that one. But if it was into another Pokemon, then it would have been bad for me. So I am going for... And he goes for the Magnet Bomb again, which would have been... and then he ends up switching... what did I do here? He goes for the Rock Slide this time. That would have been a crazy no-shield call by me. And we actually end up CMPing tying to this. You're going to see this. This is crazy. We end up CMPing tying. I end up winning. I have like a decent Alolan Marowak, so his must be a very high rank. And then I definitely would have lost if I didn't win the CMP tie. And then, oh man. And then I end up sparking it down, and I win that match. So this next one, okay, Pablito is like this 16-year-old kid. And actually Machamp is very good against Wildtooth and Boyle's team. He does like pretty well. So I was really worried about the Machamp. So Pablito, this kid's like 16 years old. Man, you're gonna see in the first game, he like totally clowns on me. It's actually really bad. I was actually really questioning. I'm like, wow, can I? So I know I lose the one shield matchup against Sableye. This kid is really good. So when he didn't shield, I was like, okay, this is good for me. And then he switches out into Machamp. I'm a little too slow on the switch. And then I was like, okay, if I was him, I would Rock Slide. And of course, he cross shots me. I was like, damn it. And then I don't even know why I didn't go for the Shadow Ball. Maybe I was panicking, worrying. He doesn't shield, which is whatever. And then of course, like most people, to go for the cross chop and then the Rock Slide. And I was like, okay, maybe I can get to the charge move and then still win switch advantage. I'll be down a shield, but that's okay. Nope. He's just gonna counter me down, and then I was like, okay, maybe I can just spam wing attacks and KO his Machamp. And nope. Oh, of course, he gets to the Rock Slide. I'm like, oh god, this is terrible. Okay, his Sableye has energy, and oh god, And I actually get the boost, and then I stupidly stay in. I was like, oh, I got the boost. God. Like an idiot. I'm like, oh, I got the boost. I have a t-shirt that says, got the boost. And then I stupidly stay in. Why the hell did I stay in for? I should have built... God. And then I think... you idiot, King. You idiot. And then he does... Plabito's very good, but he likes to flex. That's why he didn't even bother shielding. So then I was like, okay, whatever. He got me. So I'm like looking at my team. I'm like, man, I really got to pull out all the stops. And, when I was in Orlando, I went back myself. I'm like, don't be afraid to use the spice picks. Don't be afraid. And then I end up in a pretty bad situation right here. So I'm going to switch out into a Alolan Marowak. And he actually stays in a little bit too long. And then I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball. And I'm like, please let this go through. Oh God. Jesus. I'm like, we scanned each other and then we walked separate ways. And I'm like, literally screaming in my phone. I'm like, oh God, what? Would you not let me shield that? And then I honestly thought I was gonna lose. I'm like, please do not have power gem. Well, he wouldn't have got to it anyway. So like, I was like, and then so I'm like, oh God. Weekly tough. This match is going absolutely horrible for me. So I'm like, okay, there's only a couple plays for me. He goes into Machamp, and like I'm clearly at the Earthquake. Look at this. Oh, he does shield that. Okay, so I get one bait, and then I have to shield this. Wigglytuff just did a charge move. It's not going to do another charge move with me, even though it's a cross chop. And then look at this. I farm up a little bit, 2 over the Earthquake. And then I'm like, oh, man. And then I literally get to the Night Slash with the perfect amount of farm there. Win like 1 HP, rank 13 Gliscor for the win. I was like, oh, that was a... Oh man, that was crazy. I was like, I'm like, I have to overfarm, I have to shield, I have to do all this stuff. Thank goodness the Night Slash bait actually worked. So anyways, I go Probopass. We end up in the Probopass mirror. So, oh, and I think he actually has Rock Throw on his. So I'm like, oh. Thank goodness. He has I'm pretty sure he has Rock Throw. Yeah, he definitely has Rock Throw. I'm like, finally, I win a lead that I finally going to win. And then I'm like, I got to be careful in how I play this out. And he goes into Machamp, and I'm like, meet. And I actually thought that he would have been better off if he went committed to the Rock Slide. I don't know if he could have got to it. Because look what ends up happening. This is why I like Grand Bull. Grand Bull, super clutch for me. It forces the shield. You have to shield. You have to shield, or this would KO Probopass. So I'm in a pretty decent situation right now. So gonna be able to mirror, and then gonna be able to fire off the Magnet Bomb. And I'm in a good situation. I could shield. I don't remember what I do here. End up not shielding. Want to save the shield for... And then we both simultaneously switch out. And then he ends up like crazy... So I made a huge mistake here. I should have just went double Shadow Ball. Because even if he double baits me, I can get to 2 Shadow Balls before he gets to 2 Bone Clubs and a Shadow Ball. And then he realizes that his only win condition is for me to bait and fail the bait, which is not great for me. And then we both end up going for the Shadow Ball, and then he ended up shielding. So I'm like, okay, this is not good for me. And he ends up sack switching his. Of course, I don't know what else to say. Like, so he needs to. And I was gonna sack my Probopass, but it was a little too slow there. He ends going for the Shadow Ball, and then I already have the Rock Slide ready. So ended up taking the win with very little health left. And then next up is Max Cromwell. Very nice guy from Mexico City, I believe. He actually traded me the Scrafty I'm going to be using. Really high ranked player, really good. And then Scrafty was one of the Pokemon I was worried about. And I end up in the... did I not speed this one up? Or maybe I did. Okay. Anyways, so I'm in the Scrafty. So I'm like, okay, please be Power Up Punch. He has a foul playing me, of course. I was like... So then I'm going to go for the bait, and this is the only reason why I won this one. I get the boost. I was like, this is awesome. This is great. 2-stage attack buff. These wing attacks are super effective. Of course, he doesn't shield again. So, end up shielding. And then I'm like, okay, I can just farm down. Now we're in a pretty good situation. So I end up going for the Night Slash. And I'm like, got a decent chunk. So I look like in a pretty good situation. He's staying with Wigglytuff to probably farm up a little bit of energy. Or doesn't have a better matchup in the back. I don't know what it is. And then I go for another Bone Club. And then I'm able to take it out just before it gets to the charge move. And he comes in with Probopass. And I'm like, okay, pretty straightforward matchup for me at this point. Winning that lead against Scrafty was everything in this matchup for me. So, because it would have been bad the other way around. So, I was able just to counter down his Probopass. And I have a Shiny Machamp, rank like 400 something. It's not bad. So in this matchup, I was like, this is like me doing my lack of research during the cup. I was like, I actually no idea how to play this matchup because I know like Dig takes a lot of energy to get to, and then I'm going for the Shadow Ball, and it connects. Then he Night Slashes me, and then I'm like, oh, he's gonna Night Slash me again. I'm probably gonna lose this matchup. So I end up shielding, and then I think what I do? I panic and go into my own. I end up going to Gliscor myself, and then he Night Slashes me, and then he switches out into Wigglytuff. So here's the actually no, I go just go for the Earthquake. Okay, it was in this match. Okay, so not a great situation for me. Yeah, especially since he has Gliscor still. Yeah, okay, so I gotta really take out this Wigglytuff because Machamp is not gonna appreciate these charge moves. So if he actually would have shielded, I had to end up shielding this. If he actually ended up shielding one of these Bone Clubs, I think I almost for sure would have lost. And I go for the Bone Club. I can't remember if he shields this or not. That would have been a crazy play if he decided to shield it. So I go into Machamp. And I'm like, and he goes into Scrafty. But I remember this matchup. I can't take it for granted. Because and he's also up shield. So, I end up losing this. I am getting destroyed in this match. Okay, so, anyways, this is a really bad matchup for me. So, he goes for the foul play. And then, man, Scrafty is just so difficult to take out. So I lose game number 2. We're going into game number 3. And again, I'm like, when in doubt, go for the Grand Bull. That was my train of thought, at least. I was like, whenever I was like, backs against the wall, hopefully Grand Bull can pull me out. And then, so this is my new technique. So on pvpoke.com, it shows that if you go for the Night Slash bait, you can't get to the Earthquake. But I have a rank 13 Gliscor, and I actually practiced this a few times. And I end up getting the shield, and then I end up getting the we actually CMP tie to the charge move, and I end up getting the Earthquake. Normally people try to charm down, so I end up going up 2 shields against his Wigglytuff, and he has no energy on his Wigglytuff. I honestly don't know why I threw the Bone Club. I should have just fainted all the way down, but I got a little bit panicked. So I'm going to undercharge it a little bit, get one more in. Why not? A Lone Marowak shields down is super dangerous. No, if he tries to charm me down, I still get it. And you're going to see another time. And then I'm like, okay, I'm hoping to take out this Scrafty. And then he goes for the charge move, goes for Power Punch, and then I charm down his Scrafty, And then at this point in time, he knew that I won because he has a Gliscor in the back with a Night Slash and Dig. And then I think he's like fishing for the boost. Because I'm just going to be able to shield anyway, so. And then he realizes the game's over. And goes for the Night Slash. And then I'm able to take game number 3 in a very close match. And this, I forget who my, oh, yeah, George, anyways. And kind of a weird team. Again, this Machamp matchup is kind of weird. So, it would have been this particular matchup. And I was like, this should be a positive matchup for me. But these rock slides actually hurt quite a bit. And then he switches out into a little Marowak. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? Just go for the Earthquake, King. Just go for the Earthquake. And I go for the Earthquake. And I KO his a little Marowak. And then I think I go into Probopass. And then this matchup is like this first matchup is pretty one-sided because I landed the Earthquake. This cup is like very bait dependent, which is why I think we see like a wide variety of results. So I think I'm just gonna let him. I think I don't know. Like he must have just got. Anyways, I hit the. I think we end up. I go for the Magna Bomb because I already know his Machamp's in the back. And I switch out into Marowak, able to KO. And here comes the charge move from Wigglytuff. And I'm going to be able to take this win. So I felt pretty comfortable with this team. I'm like, okay, let's just give it another go. It's like Gliscor is pretty good against this team. There's not any like... even the Wigglytuff matchup, which you're going to see in a little bit. I think right here. So I basically do the same thing again. So I build up for the Night Slash. I built up for the Earthquake. And then people are so used to like, okay, shield once, charm down. That's like people's mentality. I get the boost again. And then I go for the Earthquake. And no shield. So I went switch advantage and then I was shield. Just because it's like taking advantage of people's like understanding of like how the default matchup plays out on PvPoke, and then able to win out quite. Actually make a pretty big difference to me because like usually it's a pretty bad lead. And then I go for the Bone Club. Get rock slided, which is not great. And he goes through the shield, and then I forget what I have in the back. Oh, he makes this. Oh God, these guys and their switches. God. And I'm going to Probopass. And then I'm in a very good situation right now. Even if he shadow balls me, it's not a big deal. And then I go for the Rock Slide, and then I think I have enough energy for another charge move. Yep, I do. And then I go for the Magnet Bomb to win out this match. So I take game number 2. I think this is round number 5 or something like that. So I think we play one more. The park we played at was really nice. It's a really nice park, and I was really worried that I was going to have data issues, and then I didn't have data issues until the last round. Unfortunately, the data issues made it like unplayable in the last round, but it's whatever. Yeah, we're just flying through it. It's been 40 minutes already. So, anyways, we're in a good situation. I decided like, okay, let's try it, Sableye, and then it goes into, and then I switch out into Sableye, and then what is this going to be, a Shadow Ball? Ends up being a Shadow Ball. what was my thoughts? I'm like, well, the thing is, like, I really wanted to pair up with Ventusky or Escambrero. So I was looking at the matchup, and then after round 5, there was 3 undefeated players. So I'm like, okay, I just got to win one more, and then I'll be able to have a chance to battle. You always want to battle really great people. It would have been nerve-wracking for sure to battle them, but I wanted that shot. So maybe I put a little bit too much pressure on myself, and as well, we had like really long breaks in between the rounds. So I switch out into Probopass because I know he has the Golbat in the back, and then I think I let this one go through. He bone closed me. He double bone closed me, yeah. So, and then he comes into Golbat, which puts me in a really great situation because I'm gonna be able to farm up just enough to get to it, and basically like let me have my win condition there. I don't probably, and then I go into Machamp, and I'm just barely able to get to the Rock Slide. So I move on to round number 6, and I'm actually against Swagron, who's running a very similar team to his team. Was inspired by Wild Susan Boyle. He has a few differences. His Gliscor has Fury Cutter instead of Wing Attack, and he has Wigglytuff instead of Grand Ball. So I'm like, okay, I'm like really nervous because Swagron's really good. He won the Pocus Go Chilean second biggest regionals. Really good player. And I'm like, okay, I gotta win this so that so I can get a chance to face Ventusky or Escambrero in round number 7. So I'm like, okay, this team seems pretty decent. I don't know why I didn't bring Machamp for some reason, because Machamp's actually really good against Wild Susan Boyle's team. I like this team a lot. I'm not going to use it in Mexico because I want to try something a little bit different. But I thought that was a really solid team. Had a really great coverage. Really great journalist matchups, even in pretty terrible ones. Oh, shit. Got him. Have some faith in me. Got him already wrote me off. But, Swagron's an amazing battler. Really amazing. I have like a lot of respect for him. So obviously this is a terrible matchup for me. So I switch out into Sableye. Safe switch. And because it's like, I don't know why to be honest, bringing Wigglytuff is not bad against this team either. So I can't remember if I shield. I think I let this go. And then I'm like, okay, but the thing is, I have a higher CP Sableye, so I noted that. So I know I'm going to win. I'm likely going to win the CMP, which is the case. So it's good for me. Oh, he ends up undercharging me too. God. Then I'm like, okay, you know what? The only way I'm going to win this is I need to generate some energy. Oh, actually, no. What do I do? And then what does he come into? He comes into Probopass. I'm like, okay, I don't know what I was doing there. So he ends up going for the Magnet Bomb. So I know his Probopass is at very low health. So this is like crazy maneuver on my part. I think this is the gutsiest maneuver I've ever done. So he doesn't shield this, right? And then I'm like, you know what? Let's just go for it. My only way to win, because I'm gonna lose the race anyways, I'm just gonna charm down. I'm like, I probably actually shouldn't even shield this, to be honest. But I was afraid it was gonna be an earthquake because I wasn't counting properly. You know what? Grand Bull versus Probopass. Let's go for it. Just gonna straight charm down. I'm like, this is like, I had no idea if this was gonna work. It ended up working. So I'm like, oh, I was so excited for this. I think he was like one fast move away from a Magnet Bomb. I'm like, this is so risky, but there's no way I was gonna find another way to win. Um, I was like, okay, so we end up in this Wigglytuff Gliscor matchup, right? So this is always my plan, right? So I'm gonna build up, and I go for the Night Slash, and then I get it, I get the bait, and then I actually get the buff again, and then we haven't CMP tying to the Earthquake. To the charge move. I forget if he ends up switch advantage. He does. And then he goes for it, and then he has a Fury Cutter version, so I was like, oh man, this is not so great for me. So I go into Probopass, and what do I do here? End up shielding, which is a pretty big shield for me. So what do I do next? So I think I'm like, okay, I really can't get Earthquaked. So I'm going to go for this and then take the shield. And then I'm going to force him to try to dump some energy, which he dumps the Earthquake. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for the foul play. What's my plan? I have no idea. I think I just keep Night Slashing, to be honest, is probably my play. Or if they don't shield, then I just go for the Earthquake. I don't know. It would end up pretty similar situation. And then, so I'm like, okay, I'm technically ahead on health. He has a Gliscor in the back with a little bit of energy. So I'm like, and then, so this is where it was heartbreaking for me. So I'm like, okay, I see my way to win. And then I lag here. And then he comes in with Gliscor, which I only need to do one spark. And then he KOs me here. And I was like, okay, we agreed to replay it. And then Swagron, he absolute monster here. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, because it's still 50-50. Swagron learned, man, he absolutely mauled me here. Wow, this is like, well, I still had a chance to win. I just made a mistake. He ends up shielding again. Look at this switch. Okay, so his shield. He knows he's gonna get to it before me. I get greedy. Oh God. Wow, like what a maneuver. And I was like, oh man, this is so terrible for me. Yeah, man, he's friends with like a lot of really great players, so I shouldn't be surprised that he learned to adapt. And then I undercharge this to try to get to another one, and up costing me 2 greedy on that. That was like a very risky undercharge, anyways, which is you know. Well, the thing is, like, the charm is going to take me out in, like, one shot anyway, so it was, either way, like, the Wigglytuff has less energy to farm, so I'm like, okay, going to go into Probopass. Yeah, so I still see a way for me to win, and then I sack my Gliscor. He did get off 2 sparks, though. So I sack it. I'm like, okay, I've like done everything I can. Well, almost everything I can. I need to basically play this almost perfectly. His Wigglytuff has energy in the back a little bit. So, and then he still has a shield, and I still have a shield as well. And then I think I'm like, okay, I don't know. I actually don't know what does more, Magnet Bomb or. So I overcharge this one. And I really should have like been a little bit more aggressive on this overcharge, because I need to take the shield as well, and he did a brilliant job of like conserving his shield. And and then I take a shield, and then I'm like, okay, maybe no. I'm like, I should have did 2 more sparks, and then I had room for 2 more sparks too, and then I just didn't pull it off. So, and then ended up losing that match. That's game number 3, and then I go in. Actually, no, that's game number 2. Yeah, that was on the rematch. So I go into game number 3, and then yeah, that was and then so he knows. Okay, and then he does this again to me. He like these guys are just so good in South America. Like I know he knows that a Lonely Marowak wins the 1 shield. He knows just because on the second one it's less turns to get to it. So, man, look at this here. And then I knew he was gonna try to do this, so that's why I didn't throw it off. And then I was like, oh, as soon as I went to here, literally there's like 50 people around me. I like threw down my phone. I'm like, and then I realized he night slashed me here. Because if I would have went to Gliscor, I think I win the mirror match against Gliscor. And I know what he has in the back. I know it's going to be a Charmer. So then here, I have to make a call. I'm like, I have to make a call. If I make the correct call, so I'm like, oh, I lost now. There's no way for me to win. I needed to call the Night Slash or Shield Earthquake, and that was the only way I was going to win. And I'm looking at my clock. I'm like, please. No. I misswapped. I should have went to Gliscor because I win the mirror match against it, and then, man, okay. And I'm like, okay, I just gotta farm down. And then he actually ends sack swap, and then I win the CMP match. I'm like, if I can KO this Probopass, then this is gonna be enough. Oh, his Probopass survives with 1 HP. And then he rock slides me. And then I gambled though. Like, then I missed the. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, this is like an amazing set, and I was like, oh man, I just like. He clearly adapted and just straight up outplayed me. Like, really great player. I'm really happy that I was able to play him. It has more play, but yeah, he clearly outplayed me. Like, I tried my best to adapt, but like undercharge and all this stuff, try to find any way I could win. But man, this is like, you give Swagron any like little bit of momentum, and then he's gonna take advantage and then beat me. So it was GG. Like, if I won that match, I would have been paired up with Ventusky. And I played his teammate already, so I was like very familiar with his team. So and I'm in this matchup against who's also an ace rank trainer. Yeah, it's okay. It was a really good match. I was, to be honest, a little. So I'm like, oh shoot, he has the Shadow Sneak variant. So I was like, okay, this is not great for me. And then it's a good thing I shielded it, to be honest. And then I ended up winning the CMP tie. I'm not sure if I actually should win that match, like, should get to it first. He ends up no shielding, so I win switch advantage. And then he comes in with Skarmory, and then I'm not able to get to it, but I have either one's fine. I go into Probopass, and then he goes into his own Probopass, but I have an energy advantage. And only took very little damage, so I'm going to be able to just farm this down. So, but it was a great match with Swagron. Like, it was everything I expected out of like such an amazing player. I have so much respect for his gameplay. Like, he just adapted and just won out, right? Like, I didn't adapt on my side. Well, I kind of knew that he was going to try sack switch, but I just didn't have the contingency plan. And then I talked after this with Wild Susan Boyle, and he's like, King, you gotta, like, sure, you recognize he's gonna sack switch, but you gotta like anticipate like what he's gonna sack switch to. And it was so obvious he's gonna switch into his Gliscor, and I had the advantage on the mirror. But and then we simultaneously switch, and then I know I have a very positive matchup, especially with one shield up. So basically, I don't even think I bother getting into. Actually, no, I end up going for the bait. I'm like, if he doesn't shield, then I'm just gonna straight farm him down with fire spins. Doesn't shield. I know I can survive this. To be honest, I could just farm down all the way. I could just fire spin the whole time. And then, actually, maybe not. Maybe not, actually. I probably need to fire off the charge move. And then I'm just going to fire spin his Probopass all the way down and able to take the first game. By this stage, I was looking forward to Ventusky versus Escambrero. That's like a final. That's like a dream finals, to be honest. Like, these are two amazing players. So I get the lead. So very positive lead for me. And he switches out into Sableye. I switch out into Gliscor just because it's a pretty bad matchup between Gliscor and Skarmory. And I have 2 checks anyways. So I go for the Night Slash. And then I go for another one. I think I'm shielding. Actually, no, I'm not. I did a very poor job preparing. Thankfully, I have a very good coach who taught me a lot in a very short period of time. So I ended up losing the CNP match tie here. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to win CNP, so I can dictate what goes to what. So I can't remember if he shields this. Oh, he does end up shielding this. So I'm like, okay, well, at least I can gain a little bit. And then he switches out into Probopass, and then I'm like, why the hell did I switch into a Marowak? That was a dumb move on me. I'm not sure why, and I probably should have overcharged. Yeah, it's okay. Like I have a. Yeah, it's okay. He ends up overcharging for me, and then he has like this basically gives me my window to win. Because he overcharged, and then basically I can KO him with one Magna Bomb here. And then so I don't immediately Magna Bomb. I farm up a little bit. Yeah, he gave me my window to win, so which is fine. I don't. After that switch, I'm like, I literally just saw the same thing in like game 1. I'm not sure why I switched. And then in this matchup, it's pretty straight. Oh, he ends up sack switching. I was like, oh, that was nice. The thing is, like, I actually think that his Sableye was more important than his health on his Skarmory, because his Sableye had energy. He's gonna be able to only throw off one charge move. So I actually think he made 2 mistakes. One, obviously letting me hit the Bone Club, and then 2, sacking his Sableye was not worth it, because he would have got to. Well, actually, maybe he wouldn't got to the Flash Cannon. Maybe. His Sableye had energy, like it farmed down my Gliscor, so like I definitely would have been in foul play range. So take the match anyway. So and then we go into the last match in round number 7, and then I'm like, oh, you know, I'll try a couple different teams here. And then I switch out into Probopass. I'm just daring his fighter to come out, and then he hasn't brought his I'm not sure why he didn't. You know what, this team is very anti-fighter. Gliscor, Granbull, Sableye, and Alolan Marowak. So a lot of people are very afraid to bring out their fighters against me. So I'm like, I just say switched into Probopass. Plus I have my Granbull, so I can farm Blair and Force a Shield and all this stuff, right? So yeah, this is I'm not sure if I like this cup. It's okay. It's way too bait dependent. There's a couple of matchups that I wouldn't say I won too many matchups because of baits, but there's definitely a few matchups where I ran away with it, or potentially could have won. I guess against that Pablito one, but he called me on my baits a lot too. So I ended up just farming down, and then what I do. So I think I just fire a charge move blindly. And then he goes into Granbull. I was like, ooh, spicy pick. And then I'm like, what does this Granbull have? And then his Granbull has Snarl. I was like, oh, okay, nice. This is the third match, and this is round number 7. He ends up double shielding. So I'm like, oh, I clearly don't want to go into a Alolan Marowak here because he'll just double charm. And I go into Marowak, and then I think I did just shadow balling his, and then I think he fires off the crunch right away. Oh, it actually doesn't KO. Okay, oh, interesting. Yeah, I think he ends up crunching almost right away. But I'm in a good situation. I'm like, unless this like Grand Ball has like, I don't know, play rough or something. Even then, like I probably would survive play rough. Maybe actually, maybe not. He ends up crunching me, so I'm like, okay, I'm good. Gonna be able to charm it down, and then I win up game number 7. And then in round number 8, like my data basically gave out, so I had like the white spinning ball the whole time, and then I ended up losing game 1 pretty decisively, and then game 2, like we just kept lagging, and I'm like, you know what, forget it. I'm gonna focus on watching the finals, and I figured I did enough to get to ace. My opponent was really good in the last round, so he probably would have beat me anyways. But it was just unplayable. Like when you're spinning and you see like delays in your fast move, I'm like, this is just not worth playing. So I ended up just giving up on that one, and just going out and watching the Ventusky and not Ventusky, the Vanny versus Escambrero matchup, which was absolutely amazing. So, but what are my thoughts on this team? My thoughts on the tournament and all this stuff. So the team, I actually really like this team. I think this is a really great team. I really like Grand Ball. I certainly feel safer to run Wigglytuff because, like, when you end up in that Alolan Marowak matchup, which I didn't end up in a lot, you end up in a lot better. You end up in, like, you do more damage to Alolan Marowak. And as well in the close game, like, if you have shields up, maybe you can win. But the thing is, like, what I really liked about Grand Ball, it's so squishy, but it always forces shields. It basically can hit everything in the meta. If they come in with Probopass, which I did in practice, then you can like one-shot a Probopass with close combat. If they come in with Marowak, then you can crunch, and always puts that shield pressure. So like you can like potentially invest a shield on Grand Ball, which is what I did against Ventusky on the next day when we had like a little like playoff thing. I shielded his Blastburn from Charizard and just farmed down, and then I won switch advantage, ended up getting even shields. So I really liked that for Grand Ball, but it's definitely the way riskier Charmer compared to Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is definitely safer in this meta, but I really liked it. Gliscor, I found Gliscor switch-ins very difficult to deal with, just because Gliscor has like both that Night Slash and Earthquake, and like if you switch in too late, and they can be a lot of trouble. And honestly, like Swagron's Fury Cutter version of his Gliscor definitely end up winning him that match, because he could basically double Earthquake in the face of a one shield. And even though he baited me that one time on the second attempt, that was only because he ran the Fury Cutter version, and I knew that he could generate energy really quickly, and it got in my head. And when I was trying to play at the win conditions, it was a bait anyways. Like I had to guess. So I really like Gliscor. Sableye I actually really didn't use that much. I thought I was going to use it way more, but it just felt so uncomfortable for me to use because it has like losing conditions against Machamp. It has losing conditions against. It's a very difficult. It can't beat Scrafty, and I ran into quite a few. Maybe if I faced more Medichams, then I would have felt more comfortable using Sableye. I think Machamp and Scrafty are the two best fighters in this cup. Medicham beats the other fighters, but it still like does like the other fighters still do pretty decent damage to it, and as well has Ice Punch for Gliscor. But my Gliscor can actually beat Medicham in the one shield straight Night Slash. Because of like the rank and its bulkiness and all that stuff, so I felt pretty comfortable in that matchup. Alolan Marowak, I think is the. I didn't face too many like Rhyperiors. I think I only faced like one, so maybe I would have felt a little bit differently. about Alolan Marowak, but Alolan Marowak for me felt like always like my safe switch. That Shadow Ball, Bone Club, Fire Spin, pretty decent bulk. It always came really clutch for me. And then Probopass, the Spark variant, because I ran into so many mirrors, and I think Probopass is like one of the most popular Pokemon in this cup. Just running into that mirror against Palutito helped me win that match, because honestly, in the even lead and even back end matchup versus me and Palutito, he would beat me. Like there's just players that that are gonna be able to like predict and like analyze or sack switch way better than you. So like me having the Spark variant and him having the Rock Throw variant is definitely why like I won game number 3. So I do like Spark. The Rock Throw variant gives you like a more secure matchup in the even scenario against Alolan Marowak, but it's not that great if you come in too late against Alolan Marowak. Then you end up being in a lot of trouble, and you end up being a little bit less flexible. But Rock Throw variant is very good as well. But I just found the mirror was so common that I really wanted to run Spark, and it ended up paying off for me in a few matches where I didn't end up running against Rock Throw. I also saw like, I think, man, Scrafty is really tough, and I'm definitely going to bring Scrafty in to Monterey. I need to form a team around it that's going to make it pretty safe. But I think like Licky Licky is going to be really powerful in the meta. It's able to just basically beat Alolan Marowak. I think even down like 2 shields or something like that. Pretty crazy. So I definitely going to consider running Licky Licky as one of my options. And then we'll see. I'll probably run Alolan Marowak, Scrafty. I might ban Alolan Marowak. We'll see. I really liked it in this cup, but very safe. Definitely won me some matches. And then we'll see what I'll run for the rest of my team. If I bring Scrafty, I probably won't bring Sableye. I don't know. I have to think about it. I have to decompress. The next day we did like. I think it was like there's like 64 competitors, and we were split into groups of 4. It's kind of like World Cup format, and I was like paired up in the same group as Ventusky. Unfortunately, I didn't record that match. I'm not sure why I didn't. He ended up winning the first match. I ended up winning the second match like pretty convincingly. I led Grand Ball, he led Scrafty, and then we basically just played around it, and I ended up winning. And then the third match, he led Scrafty again, and I led Probopass, and then there was one decisive moment. So he led Probopass, and then I led Probopass. He led Scrafty. I switched into Grand Ball. He switched into Charizard. I shielded his Blast Burn. I farmed down his Charizard. I actually did a close combat because I was hoping that he would shield, and then he came to Alolan Marowak. He ended up shielding it, and then that way he could farm me less. I come to Probopass. I farm a little bit. He switches to Scrafty. I switch into Alolan Marowak. And then we play the game. I call all his baits correctly, and then at the end, he's going for a foul play, and I chicken out. I go for the Bone Club, and then I do 2 more fire spins, and he foul plays me. And I was like, I really should have went for the Shadow Ball, and then at least even get to his Scrafty to really low, so I could farm down with Probopass, and then I could have double rock slided his. Or if I KO'd his Scrafty, which would have been the case, then he would be forced to use energy on my Marowak, and then had energy on my Probopass, so I would have won. But I was like, after the thing, I was like, oh man, King, you got to play to win. But I'm gonna be doing Escambero's matchup tomorrow, so look forward to that video sometime in the evening. I'm gonna let it process tonight, but this was. Overall, so my team, tournament, all great. Really great gameplay. Really enjoyed it. The next day, the place I stayed at was really great. The tournament environment was awesome. It was cool to play outside. It was a very long time, as you can see, as my I look super red. It was immediately like pretty difficult to concentrate and like take so many pictures and like do so many videos for people. But that's like part of my role is to do that. So I'm happy to do that. I was like, sometimes especially I was getting like late around. I was really anticipating that matchup with Ventusky or Escambrero a little bit later on. So I was like trying to dial in, and then I had to sign so many things, and but it was fine. It's part of the process, and part of the reason why they want me to be there. Really friendly people, really nice. Lima was great overall, and I had a really positive experience there, and I really enjoyed it. I look forward to going to Mexico, and then hopefully, if my weekends line up, I'm definitely going to go to the tournament that they're going to host in Chile at Pokescope. I met like so many great Chilean players, and they were super cool. So I definitely want to go to the big tournament. I think they call it the Federation now, no longer Pokescope. I don't know what the background behind that is. So I look forward to that. I have a very busy weekend in May, so we're going to see if the dates line up. But we'll see how it goes. Thoughts on new cup announcement tomorrow? We'll see. I got to figure out a way to balance my time between Sylph and Go Battle League. Go Battle League takes a really long time, like to do the battles and to curate them and find the right strategies and all that stuff. So I got to figure out a way to balance because I still want to support Sylph material. But we'll see. And Argentina later, yeah. If you guys invite me, I'm a little bit surprised that I don't think I saw any Argentinian players go to Lima. I was hoping, Real, you're gonna go there, or Marto, or Lexmaster, or any of those really great players, or Dibu Queru. I'm not sure if he's from Argentina, probably. I'm surprised that there wasn't more in there in Lima. I think that would have been really cool because they have certainly a large and great community as well. So some from Uruguay. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure if there was. To be honest, people are like, I did so many videos where people are like, King, can you shout out my community XYZ? So I was like, oh yeah, sure. I was like, hola, ¿cómo estás? Blah 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 blah. And I was like, I have no idea where these places are. They're like cities all over Peru and all over the rest of Argentina. So I wasn't sure, but yeah, really nice people there. They also like. Okay, this is the one big distinction. I told them this as well. Between when I go to a tournament outside of South America, and this includes like when I go to tournaments in Europe, and when I did a tournament in Singapore, and in Canada and the US, they like to have fun all the time. It felt like, they're always like, in between rounds, they're always like vibing, and they're having fun and they're enjoying things as they're battling. It feels like it's like always like a party, and you definitely get that Latin vibe, and it was pretty cool. It felt it made the event less stressful because they're all just like so chill and just having fun with it. And it was really cool. So I really liked it. So thanks everyone for tuning into the stream. I'm gonna go edit Escambrero's stream as well. I'm hoping to get him to St. Louis. I want to see him go up against, I'm going to say some names, and then people are going to tag me saying I forgot to say this other person's name. There's a lot of amazing battlers, really great people. But obviously, I want to see him go up against Wild Susan Boyle, because man, when I watched that finals between Vanny, who is an amazing Spanish player, like top 3 Spanish player, probably like top 15 European player, Escambrero, like absolutely like dominated him. Like it was one of the most. He's a very good player. Vanny could absolutely destroy me. Don't get me wrong, but it was an absolute clinic. So I definitely looking forward to showcasing his match and all that stuff. So man, Escambrero I want to see Escambrero and Wild Susan Boyle, because or Escambrero versus Valor Ash, and like his team composition, no fighters, going with Vile Plume, going with Mudslap, Rhyperior instead of Smackdown. Like, really, the plays that I witnessed was, I'm like, and like, he was really good he's also, so he won the South American Championship, has like 2 8-0s under his belt, or 3 8-0s, number 1 ranked in the world. Like, his resume is super impressive. But, I always say, like, you have to go travel outside of your area, which he did for South American Championships, but he needs to leave South America and come battle the best in North America and elsewhere. And then I want to see him in the future battle the Nat 93 or Though Technical or any of these guys. So, anyways, hoping to arrange that, so you're gonna be able to see that quite soon. Yeah, I should switch over to hosting. Okay, who is streaming right now? Alfredino. Okay, all right.
This is the top result.
Oh, Google, why are you listening to me? Okay, all right. Let's go. Who am I rating? Ken. Okay, I guess I'll be rating Ken, unless there's someone else. Okay, all right. Host him here. How do I host? He turned off raids. Oh, you cannot raid. Why do you turn off host? Why do you turn off? Oh, why do you turn off raids? Should I just raid someone else? Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he wants to be left alone. I don't want to intrude on him. Maybe I'll. Let's see here. Is there anyone else?
Both seasons 2 and 3.
Anyone else? I don't know if there's anyone else. Man, I suck at this. Okay, I am terrible at this. Why did he turn it off? He likes to. Okay. Let's see here. No, it's Let's Go. Where the hell's Pokemon Go? Okay, all right, fine. I will host him. Okay, you know what? Yeah, okay. Putting me in a. Can I host somebody and then rate somebody? I have no idea. Okay, I'm gonna try that. Well, no, that makes sense. I don't know. Okay. You can do the other direction. Rate. Okay. You know what? Okay. God damn it, guys. I'm good. You know what? Okay. You know what? Okay. I'll raid Pirate Unicorn the next time. It's for the numbers. I don't care about my Twitch numbers. You don't really, because it was messing with his viewers and counts strats or something. Coming for me. Okay, all right. Whatever. I'm just gonna host him. Host. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'll raid Pirate Unicorn next time to elder that, because I already committed to hosting Ken. What am I hosting for again? What? Okay, so it messes with his views and followers strats or something. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what that means. I can host 2 more host commands running this half an hour. Okay, anyways. Okay, I'm going to drop off. Thanks, everyone.